So I have been at Paddle for almost 2 years now. I started here as a senior customer success manager. I moved across from another company doing a very similar role in a very similar industry. And I worked through that in that role for around 18 months. I've recently been promoted to customer success account director. And I've been doing that role for 3 or 4 months now. So my move into the account director role was planned. I've been working very closely with my direct manager, who is the VP of customer success here at Paddle. And we've been working together to identify some of the strengths that I had the opportunity to progress, and also some of the traits that we identified that were actually holding me back. So we worked really closely together during the course of those 18 months, while also working simultaneously to identify where in the business I could progress. So we identified a couple of opportunities for me to continue to develop. One of those was actually utilizing the Paddle annual learning budget that each employee is allocated. And we used that and sourced an external professional coach. And I worked with that professional coach for approximately 6 months. And then that helped lead me into a position where I was able to be promoted to my current role. So honestly, what I'm most proud of in my career so far is most definitely my most recent promotion, moving from the customer success manager role into an account director role. One of the reasons why I'm so proud of this is because even looking back 1 year from today, I've overcome a lot of personal and professional challenges in order to get to this position. So obviously, being a working mum and having 2 children, one of the challenges that I have had to overcome is working through postnatal depression and anxiety, which obviously is something that can take up quite a lot of time and be very difficult to manage. So Paddle has been great in helping me to overcome those challenges, especially with a professional coach, but also having the support and guidance from my direct manager as well, and also feeling like I had the flexibility and the authority to manage my working day, manage my working week in the way that I needed to, while balancing out the commitments of having 2 children as well. So I guess I don't have an average day, to be honest with you. It very much varies Monday through to Friday. But what I have been able to do is structure my week that best suits me. So I work with clients from across several different time zones, going from the Pacific time in the West Coast of the US all the way through to Eastern Europe. And with school pickups and drop-offs in between. So I structure my day by day in the way that best suits me and the commitments that I have with my clients. So, for example, my Monday, Tuesday will be a little bit of a shorter days in terms of when I'm available for actual meetings. But then my Wednesday and Thursday will be longer, and I'll quite often work into the evenings. And yeah, that balance provides me the perfect blend of work-life balance, as much as is achievable, and I'm able to do that at Paddle as well. Okay, so some great things about working at Paddle, being a working mum, is that I'm really able to own the fact that I'm a parent. It's not something that I need to shy away from. For example, I block out big chunks of time in my calendar when I want to focus on my children. So when I pick them up from school and I want to focus on getting them dinner sorted, helping them through their homework, spending quality time with them. And I know that my my employer and my colleagues respect that during that time, unless there's an absolute emergency, then I'm not available. And I guess I give that back to the company in a way that, as I referenced on, Wednesday, Thursdays, I may do longer days when that suits me. Also, the digital first ethos has been a little bit of a game changer for me. So at Paddle, we have a fantastic London office in Old Street. I love going in there, but it's totally up to me and my schedule when I travel to the office. So we don't have mandated days, we don't have policies that are at your manager's discretion, which can often be quite toxic policies. So I'm totally free to work the way that I need to, but I'm also encouraged to visit the office and collaborate with my colleagues, because they've created such a nice working environment as well. I don't have a ongoing mentor at Paddle, so to speak, but I have had a professional coach that I worked with for 6 months. The reason for working with the coach was that me and my direct manager identified that there were some of my traits, especially some of the pieces that were linked to anxiety, that was holding my professional development and my career progression back. So I worked with a professional coach then to overcome some of those challenges, which worked like a treat, because I've obviously been promoted recently. And quite honestly, I feel like a completely different person than I did sort of a year and 18 months ago. So I'm hugely grateful to Paddle for giving me that opportunity to progress and to learn. And obviously very grateful that we have this annual learning budget that can be utilised for initiatives like this as well. The advice that I would give myself when first starting out, if I can remember, because it's been a little while now, there's probably 3 main things that have really helped me get to the point that I am today, and hopefully that's gonna stay with me to allow me to keep progressing. So definitely being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I think, especially in my younger days, I used to shy away from quite a few challenges because I was anxious or nervous about not being able to do them to the best of my abilities. But the thing is, if you don't put yourself in some uncomfortable situations and stretch yourself, then it's a lot harder to progress. So yeah, just being okay with not being okay, I guess, is the takeout. Also, what I've learned, and I think this is most recently, is don't be afraid to self-promote. I think as a woman who largely grew up in the 90s and early noughties, it kind of wasn't the thing to promote yourself, but actually there's nothing wrong with pointing out when you, and indeed others, have done a really good job, and that becomes self-fulfilling. So that's definitely a really important thing. Obviously, self-promote with humility is the best balance. And then also something that held me back for quite a while is trying to achieve perfection in everything I did, and that's just not possible. So acknowledging that not everything needs to be perfect, and quite often 80% is good enough, with perfection sometimes being the enemy of progress. So.